not only in the 12 minutes that you had to put on the show for us and perform, not only did you emphasize for the culture multiple ways, but in the same breath, you basically told this man to stop playing with, like, to stop playing with us. What's good, YouTube? We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to break down, and as you know, from the title of this video, it's part 2 to the part 1. So before we get into this, let me just say, if you haven't watched part 1, I'm gonna drop the link so you can click it and you watch part 1 before we get into part 2. All right. So let me just start by saying, Kendrick motherfucking Lamar, Kendrick Duckworth Lamar, okay, Llama, PG Lane, whatever you call him, for the culture. That's what I'm gonna say, right? I'm gonna say for the culture, because everything Kendrick does is for the culture, but I'm gonna talk about that later, right? So let me just start by saying I was right. I know, yeah, I was right. As far as what my predictions were for his set list, I basically kind of nailed it head on. Did I say that right? Yeah, I hit it head on. I know what I'm talking about, right? I know a little something. So, with the exception of a couple songs, and then a couple songs that he did, more songs that he did off the GNX album, that was a good fit. I honestly did not think he was gonna do a lot of songs off the GNX album, but what I can say is, because he did that, he got us hyped for the tour that's coming on. And honestly, I haven't even got my tickets yet, and part of me is scared to even look at the prices right now. So I'm gonna get that a couple days before I sit down and get my tickets. As far as he didn't bring anybody out, I mean, Mustard came out, so I gave y'all Tyler the Creator and Lil Wayne, but leading up to the actual performance, they already hit that on the head. Nah, I ain't coming. So that was like big fat X, right? So before I get into what he did in his performance, I don't know who did it, I don't know why you did it, and I kind of wish you didn't do it, but somebody leaked his I don't want to say it leaked his performance. They leaked his set list. They leaked his stage setup. They even leaked the fact that Samuel L. Jackson was coming to commentate, in between his sets, right? And my initial reaction to seeing that, I'm scrolling on Facebook and I'm like, nah, ain't no way, like, this gotta be a joke, because the first thing that stands out, mind you, everything is leaked, and I'm gonna show that to y'all. Everything is leaked, from who's coming to the order of the songs he's doing. But what stood out to me was the fact that as soon as I saw Samuel L. Jackson, I'm like, Kendrick Lamar, Samuel L., two different spectrums in terms of what they do. And call me small-minded, but the only thing I'm thinking when I see Samuel L. Jackson, I'm like, what could he possibly be coming to do besides say, motherfucker? That's the only word that comes to mind when I think of Samuel L. Jackson, right? So I didn't pay no mind, and I'm like, nah, this ain't it. Nah, like, I'd be a fool to believe this. So I let it ride, and Lord and behold, who was the first person I see before Kendrick comes on? Samuel L. Jackson. So I'm like, okay, maybe this was true. And there was, when he did his first song, I want to say it correctly. It's a snippet to something. I don't remember exactly what. And then the second song he did, obviously, was Squabble Up. And as soon as he did Squabble Up second, I said, oh, snap. This leak was 100% correct. I already knew it. But part of me, and I can admit, right, part of me lost a little bit of excitement. I'm not saying Kendrick didn't do a good job. I'm not saying I wasn't excited at the fact that he was there. But part of me lost that excitement of being surprised at what I saw in the order that I saw it. Like, oh my gosh, like, oh, he went into this song next. Like, I lost that element of surprise just from even seeing the leak. And it's not like I purposely looked up the leak. It's just that I saw the leak, I glanced over it, said, no, that's not true. But then by the time I'm realizing, oh, this leak is true, I'm starting to remember everything that's on what I saw. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna just wait a couple days, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna analyze what he did again, and I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing from start to finish, because one, my environment was really loud. Like, I think probably maybe only a good I say about a good 20% of where I was actually paying attention to the halftime show, and that's cool. So essentially, this is scary hours because the best thing you can do for Kendrick is ask them to perform on two times, Black History Month and Juneteenth. Kendrick always has a message. That's no debating that. No matter what, Kendrick always has a message. He always has a story. So this being Black History Month, I already knew that he was coming with something crazy. Now we gonna backtrack a little bit, and I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of knowledge, right? So when he dropped the damn album, he has this line in the song that says, "Woke up, turned on the news, hoping the election wasn't true." And this is basically in reference to when Trump became president the first time. And let me start by saying this: I'm not a political person, but I'm going to give you the facts of what I know happened, right? So now we're going to fast forward to this day and age where Trump is president again, right? And we know that the whole DEI issues are going on, and I said, Kendrick has that one line, and essentially now we're in the same point in history again. I said, okay, Kendrick's about to we about to have a good Black History Month essentially, because you're not gonna give him a platform on a very important month and him not use it. This is why I said for the culture. So we know his setup was the red, white, and blue, the American flag. So we know we have snippets of him saying, the revolution is about to be televised, like, and then he has Samuel L. Jackson also saying like, hey, let's not get too ghetto in here, and we know that is a common misconception that African Americans tend to have when there's a lot of us, or we get too loud and too rowdy. That's the misconception that we tend to have about ourselves, right? And even if we want to rewind to his last Super Bowl performance, if you look at his opening scene, who was coming out that box? Mind you, this is Black History Month, right? So when you look at that opening scene, who's coming out that box, right? So he's going to use the platform for as much as he can, the best way he can, and that's what I love about what he's always doing and how he has a message. Now, everybody has their different perceptions of what his message may have been at that time, but if you ask me what I think his message was this time, I think it has a lot to do with unity and coming together as a nation, and coming together as a country, because we're in some crazy times. Like, I mean, gas prices are crazy. People going crazy over eggs. Like, we're in crazy times. Like, that's just what it is. Like, so even him having the American flag and saying something like, "Yo, the revolution is about to be televised," Kendrick, like, thank you. Like, it's a point where we essentially have to come together, right? Kendrick. That is one part of. And hang on, let me say this as well, right? I talk about how. Okay, so I mentioned how. Let me tell you how crazy Kendrick is, right? I mentioned how my environment where I was watching the Super Bowl was so loudy at times. I could barely hear like what Kendrick was like, the songs that he was doing. Like, I heard it, but I couldn't hear every word, every lyric he was saying. But this is why I love Kendrick, because I'm looking at the camera when I say this. Even though I couldn't hear Kendrick's lyrics, I still heard what Kendrick was saying. All just from his setups, just from his choreographers, just from the overall, I don't like using the word or, the overall aura of what he was trying to say was heard without me even hearing his lyrics. And that's man, Kendrick. That's it takes an artist to do that. It does. You can't just like I said before. Kendrick's not just out here rapping the words to his song. This man is gonna tell us a story. He's gonna give us a message, and he's gonna say, "Do what this says you please." Right. So like I said, even though I couldn't necessarily hear every lyric that he said, I heard his message loud and clear. So that's why even today I'm like, I gotta go back in and watch this again, because let me see what I missed. Let me see. Let me not see it or read it from other people's standpoint, but let me get a better understanding for myself. So that's just one part of the performance, the message. or I say the good message, because we know Kendrick had another message in this performance too. So, but leading up to the Super Bowl, Kendrick had he did an interview with Apple TV, not Apple TV, Apple Music, and I'll be honest and say I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched snippets of it, and a lot of people were debating if he would do Not Like Us because of the Drake's on the label issue, and me personally, I didn't think he was gonna do it. And when he did his interview at Apple Music, they even asked him like what caused it to get to this point, and he's just like, I feel like rap just I'm paraphrasing, okay? He's like, I just feel like I had to bring back rap, like I had to bring back that rawness, that realness, that real talk. So I'm thinking, okay, call me a dummy for this, but part of me was thinking, oh, maybe Kendrick is ready to squash the beef. A lie. I'm like, okay, maybe he won't do it. Maybe not, right? So during his performance, as soon as he did Euphoria, I said, oh, Kendrick about to be on some crazy time right now. He drops he's doing, before SZA comes out, he does the scene with the girls, and he's like, I want to play your favorite song, but they like to sue, and so he's dun dun. That's all you hear, like just the opening 2 tones of the song. I'm like, nah, he bullshit. He ain't gonna do it. So SZA come do her thing, and okay, we feeling that, but this man ends and it just does the song. So I'm like, oh, this is, it's a bad day to be Drake. Like it's really bad. So before we even finish, right? This is when I say Kendrick took this man out the grave and re-murdered him, right? Juneteenth, you have a whole, you basically dedicate a whole concert to killing this man in Inglewood, right? Now, let's talk demographics, right? What's the demographic of Inglewood? And this is not to throw race in there, but what's the demographic of what's the majority of the demographic of the people living in Inglewood, right? Okay. Now let's talk Super Bowl numbers. Let's talk Super Bowl demographics. And this is stuff you could probably look up too. So what's the majority of demographics that's at the Super Bowl? So not only does Kendrick murder Drake on Juneteenth for the culture, once again, right? I shouldn't say once again, for the first time, right? And then we get to the Super Bowl, right? Huge demographic change. This man says, nah, I ain't done yet. Like, oh, I'm about to do you in again, but I'm about to do you in front of your people too. Hang on, because what I didn't think I promise you, I did not think he was gonna do it. I'm thinking, I wholeheartedly thought Kendrick was ready to squash the beef. So then, not only does he do the whole song and have the whole stadium saying A minor. I wish, man, I probably should have fact checked this, and I might. The number, not so much the demographic, but the number from that Juneteenth concert with, because I think Amazon was the broadcaster for that, and versus the Super Bowl numbers, millions, where basically, if you pay no attention to that Juneteenth concert, you low-key still got a snippet of how bad that Juneteenth concert was, right? So, not only do you massacre Drake once again, you bring Serena Williams out, and she's just crip walking. Now, I can be a little uneducated sometimes, right? So, I had no idea of the fact that the fact that Drake and Serena Williams had a past. So I'm watching it and I'm like I get it, but I don't get it until Shade Room, until everybody's posting about it. Now I'm putting 2 and 2 together, and then I'm like, oh snap, Kendrick, you a bad man. So Kendrick, I have, if we being real, I have no words to describe this Super Bowl. It was well put together. I would say go back and rewatch that performance, because like I said, everybody's gonna have a different interpretation of it. But Kendrick did enough to get the people talking and get people debating, get people digging, get people figuring out what are you trying to say, Kendrick. Oh, that's what I'm missing, right? And then not even the fact, like, it didn't stop with you having the man's ex is crib walking on national television. You then have, and this is going back to the leak in the setup, right? The setup was leaked. I didn't pay too much attention to the setup portion, but I did get the gist of it was gonna be some X's and O's in there. And like I said, I'm choosing not to believe it, because why would somebody do that, right? So not only do you have the setup of the X, the O, the square, the triangle, you get the crowd to put up. This is playing perfectly. You get the crowd to put up something, and in the end, it says game over. Hang on. I'm saying, like, the X's, the O's, the squares, the circles. Oh, that's the PlayStation buttons. Like, game is the game is definitely over. Like, it's no coming back from that, right? So Kendrick Lamar, not only did you use this platform to get the for the culture message across, but in the same breath, in the same 12 minutes that you had to use for greatness, you massacred another man. Like, it's a like it's hang on, because let me re-say that right. Not only in the 12 minutes that you had to put on the show for us and perform, not only did you emphasize for the culture multiple ways, but in the same breath, you basically told this man to stop playing with, like, to stop playing with us. So Juneteenth, what you did on Juneteenth was just step one. The scale of what you did at the Super Bowl, that, yeah, Kendrick, wow. So it's been a couple days, and the internet's still debating on was the performance good, was it I'm not gonna say Super Bowl worthy, but we know there's been a lot of bad talk as far as this is the first Super Bowl where a rapper himself has headlined the actual the Super Bowl halftime show. And we know that since we know Jay-Z's taken over as far as arranging who's going to perform for the halftime shows in the Super Bowl, we know it's been nothing but the culture, for the culture, about the culture, right? So there we go. Okay. So to say Kendrick did what Kendrick needed to do is an understatement. I could say that all day. But I will say wholeheartedly that I believe Kendrick, we know who Kendrick was talking to when he performed this. We know that he had a message, and the message got delivered, right? Whether it was the message of unity, of being a better America, or the message to Drake saying it's done now, like, just pack it up and go home. The message got delivered. The message got delivered, obviously. So it's been a couple days, and we don't have any news. I was expecting some news. Only thing left for me to do is really get my concert tickets. Honestly. If you're watching this, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, I got more stuff on the way. That's mandatory. That's always in progress, right? So, once again, if you're watching this, thank you for taking the time out your days, time out your busy schedules, just to listen and hear what I gotta say. Man, go listen to some Kendrick. That's all I can really say. So, until the next time.